There I am. Hi, guys. John O'Loughlin here. Welcome to McDuff Lives. And there's the Ospreys. I had to give them a kick to get them started this morning, but they're here to sing us into another week. Happy Monday. It's a few minutes after 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time here on Mystery Island in Southern Maryland, USA. And yeah, I we had a big technical disaster last Friday, so Marcia can't be with me now. But I did want to get back to doing a little chat. And Monday morning is an opportunity for maybe people that haven't been able to chat with me before. So if you have any comments, questions, good ideas, or anything else you'd like to join me with, just pop it up into the chat. The chat is open on Rumble, of course, also on both of my YouTube channels and on X. So, wow, lots of stuff going on. Kind of frustrating week last week. A lot of confusion, a lot of, I think, it's a lot of attempts to make everybody confused like they like us to be. They want us all to not know anything and then speculate and then get up in our heads and get worried about something, or else feel like somebody else has got it all wrong and we got to correct them immediately. And that kind of sowing of the seeds of discord has been the theme, I think, of last week and may continue this week. Um, and so, anyway, I am here to express an alternate view. That is, I think that reality is pretty easy to see. The past is a whole lot different from the way that they tell it, and the future is up to us and not up to them. As long as we take our responsibility and make it happen, make it so, as Captain Picard says, "Make it so." Well, let's get some ideas together and see if we can't make the world a better place. Let me say hello to folks. Charles Held is here. Charles, thank you so much for being here. And Laura Willingham says hello, Ospreys. Yeah, yeah, they are back. I don't see as many as we usually get, though, and it's almost April. Wow. But it's nice. It's always nice springtime. Wow. I was out working in the yard yesterday. My broken wrist is healing up pretty well, and was able to, carry things around, toss some mulch bags around, and I felt like, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Happy to announce that I am uh, really feeling pretty healthy. I did have a doctor's appointment this morning. Unfortunately, I have tinnitus in my ear, and it's sometimes makes me really frustrated. But went to the doctor and got checked out, and says, you know what? There's not much we can do for tinnitus. Really, it's unfortunate. I don't understand why, but then it's in, they say it's not in the ear, it's in the brain, because the brain is not hearing certain frequencies that it wants to hear, so it makes them up itself, and that produces the sensation of a ringing in the ear in very high frequencies that a lot of people have, and I unfortunately am one of them. But the answer is get your mind off it. Get doing something more important. And I think talking to you guys is very, very important. Well, where should we start? It's been my great privilege to work with Doug Valentine, the author of the Phoenix Program, The Strength of the Wolf, The Strength of the Pack, the CIA as Organized Crime, the Hotel Tacloban, a number, and most importantly for me, of all of them, is the book TDY. TDY is a short book. It's a roman à clé, which means it's telling the truth without telling the names of the people involved. And so, as you may know from being with me for a while, one day on my show, I was interviewing Doug Valentine, and it hit us both at the same time that this character in his book was my dad. And so, if you want to have a fun ride, get this book called TDY, written by Douglas Valentine. And when you get to Mr. Hammer, realize that that is McDuff. That is Thomas F. O'Loughlin Jr. Yeah, doing what? Setting up a raid of the CIA drug dealers, trying to catch them on film and on camera. And the details of that raid have just fascinated me ever since. Of course, I never saw that side of my dad, but you can imagine big bull-necked guy, a um, veteran of World War II, and an athlete, uh, and somebody that could intimidate, and obviously did intimidate a lot of people. It's been a pleasure to work with George Webb from time to time to try to learn more. And he and I went down to National Archives and dug up the Irvin Scarbeck file together. And then from there, George did a great deal of research to uncover what was behind that. And the Otepka case, very highly related to the Scarbeck case. And why is all that important today? Because it is the fight between the State Department and everybody else. The State Department just gradually, with the CIA working together, was screening employees on the grounds of national security, and the people they were screening were people that President Kennedy wanted to have in. And so the fight erupted between Bobby Kennedy and the State Department over that issue. And that's why Mr. Scarbeck got arrested and prosecuted and found guilty and served time. Now, let's check with you guys. Hello, Charles. And there's Laura. Hello. Brightmore Dinosaur, Virginia Giuffre, who helped bring down Epstein and Prince Andrew, is hospitalized after being hit by a bus. Giuffre is claiming that doctors have given her 4 days to live. Oh, my God. Oh, my. Did you see that Marie Le Pen, the leading candidate for the presidency of France, has been convicted of a crime and sentenced to 4 years in jail, and she's no longer qualified to run for president? Telling you, this lawfare, and also, of course, the horrible hit squads that they can operate are definitely being employed right now. Sorry to hear about that with Virginia Giuffre. Corky says, I know tinnitus, also know ear can vibrate and mind hears nothing. Sleep. There's Jeremilly. How are you? And yes, Paul Kenyon. Yes, the same report. Thank you. Jeremilly, I got tinnitus 2019. Life has not been the same since. Constant droning in the ear, compounded with a litany of other health issues, head-related, make for cloudy days indoors. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it's tough stuff. It really is. I just sat down with the latest and greatest young ENT, ear, nose, throat, neck guy, and he gave me a full exam and told me once again to my face, there is no cure for tinnitus. So we just have to distract ourselves from it. And it comes and goes. It's not there every day. I think it got set off once again when I hit my head 2 months ago and broke my wrist and really had some bad headaches for a while. So it may go away, it may come and go, but bottom line is we have to live with it, and that's what I'll be doing. Yeah, another comment about Virginia Jeffrey's accident, quote unquote, a message to the other women coming forward. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, this whole, um, you know, honeypot blackmail scheme seems to be the major force in world politics. You know, it's it's incredible. Jason, hello, Jason. Me singing at the near frequency of tinnitus, resonant waves canceling. That's what I've been thinking about. This is what I want to ask somebody after I studied it a little more. But you know how with noise canceling headphones, like these are not, but if you had noise canceling headphones, then what they do is they have microphones on them and they listen to the ambient sound around you, and then they create an opposite sound wave to so that if the sound around here is going like this, then they create a wave that goes like this, and that's how it gives you the sense of not hearing anything, because by the time it gets to your eardrum, it's been canceled out. Now, what would be really cool would be if I could document the frequencies at which I'm hearing this, like get an audiologist with a computer machine and say, okay, try to match this frequency. And is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's 8,000 hertz. Okay. So let's build something that's 8,000 hertz inverted and play that into my ear and see if that works. Well, I don't know if anybody's tried that. I see, it occurs to a lot of people. It certainly occurred to me. This is my second bout with tinnitus. It first hit me about 5 years ago when one of our dogs barked right into my ear, and boy, that set it off for a while. So I've already been through the medical system, but I'm going through it again. I'm going to get another hearing test, and you know, who knows? Who knows? Noted Dino. New theory: Kennedy's man to smash the CIA is Trump. Well, I would love to know that. I would love to feel that Trump is really going to smash the CIA, but I just not so far. So far, I'm not seeing it. So far, it's all I can see is Trump wants to manage our military commitments around the world uh, in a way that probably suits his primary benefactors, donations, the people that can really influence him. And I think he really wants to turn to China and into Asia and get away from having to fool around in Ukraine and the Middle East. He wants, he said, just get it over and done with, to Netanyahu. A disgusting attitude, in my opinion. The people that have lived for many many generations in Palestine, in the area that Israel under Netanyahu wants to claim has been given to it by God Almighty back in ancient times, and they want it back. Uh, they can only do this if they deny the humanity of the people they're displacing. And denying other people's humanity is the idea that we tried to get rid of at the end of World War II by entering into the United Nations and having a universal declaration of rights, and more to the point in terms of Israel, to say that you can't take territory from other people by military force. So I mean, Israel had its boundaries that were drawn out in the 19, I think, 48, and why why should they be able to alter those boundaries by military force if the UN Charter says you can't do that no more? Well, I don't like this special privilege. The special privileged characters of the world are not. They're not helping. It's not helping. We all are the same. We all, even in like things like genealogy, anybody that has any European heritage at all is related to Charlemagne. You know, I mean, this is mathematically, statistically, absolutely true because just if you go back enough generations, then there's just not enough people alive to to not be all related together. You know, it's just follow that back to the beginning of the pyramid, and everybody is related, and that includes the whole world. By the way, it's not just Europe. And to think, well, I'm related to somebody that lives in the middle of Afghanistan or China or somewhere sounds absurd, but hey, we are all humans, and the the big lesson of history is that we're all humans, and we have to learn how to respect each other, not divide each other by race, color, creed, national origin, sexual preferences. Stop it. Just stop it. You know, the hope of America is to be an American, you know, and that means that we're not going to respect all those crazy theories and divisive teachings that have been pushed at us by the powers that be that want to stay in power and keep us fighting amongst each other. So there's another person with tinnitus. Imagine that. Hello, Imagine. I have found some links to NSAIDs, aspirin, as well as aspartame artificial sweetener. Some of my heart meds may cause it too. Okay, well, yeah, I don't take any of those, so yeah. But thank you. And geez, you got to take your heart meds. So yeah, they do say to check on your meds and see if any of them are causing it. One piece of hope that I have is we have our television in our bedroom has a router, and it's really loud. It like sings this high pitched note all the day. And the doctor said, that kind of sustained uh, high pitched ring sound can cause tinnitus. So one thing I'm going to do is start pulling the plug out of the router every night when I go to bed, and hopefully that'll help. Hello, Paul Kenyon. Thank you, and appreciate the thumbs up and the heart. Embezzling. They DJT'd her. They Donald J. Trumped her. All right, Giera. Yeah. Well, we just have to deal, don't we? We have to deal with it. As far as I know, life is a one-way street. And we're all going to end up in the same place. Right, more dinosaur will again post mind-blowing DARPA space assembly project in comments. Okay, all right. Yeah, some boy, there's a lot of stuff going on up there that we don't know about. I've been saying this for years. What the heck is going on up in outer space, and why can't we know? How many crazy spaceships are up there? It's too high up for us to see them. They're too small for us to pick them up with a telescope. But we all know they're up there. Uh, yeah, so much about these recent drones over New Jersey and Florida and other places. And Trump is like, oh, well, they're friendly. Why don't we just tell them what they are? But nobody tells us what they are. Well, how about out with it? Let's let the American people know what's going on in the United States of America for a change. Oh, Corky, you got eye floaters. All right. I had them and I got my cataracts done, and I haven't had them since. And I'm just really blessed. My eyesight is great. I just got some slight prescription for my glasses, just a little bitty one. But eye floaters kind of suck, and I hope you can get rid of them. Corky's What is DARPA not showing us? Cold fusion. Okay. Do you see that China is now making this something up to like 10 million degrees? They're just creating heat at a very, very high temperature, like the surface of the sun type of high temperature. And I think that that is in some way related to creating energy from well, it's not cold, is it? But fusion. And Paul says, yeah, remember tinnitus doesn't have a sound wave to interfere with. The sound isn't there. Yeah, so they're shut that one down. And try, that doesn't work because you're right. There is no sound wave actually there. And, you would have to figure out a way to fool the brain into thinking that there was. But no, I guess it's just a non-starter, isn't it, Paul? Romania has also turned their elections into a banana republic, says Brightmore Dinosaur, as Zelensky's trying to do too. Well, if my study of the Ukraine war brings in Romania from time to time, and the big thing was when the EU was able to disqualify the leading vote winner in the Romanian election. What was that, a month or 6 weeks ago? And it's just crazy because the EU is not a democratic organization, but it has to do with the money that all the countries contribute to the EU in order to get money back from the EU, and the EU won't give any money to the Romania, which they depend upon by now, of course, unless they disqualified the leading candidate, the one that, of course, was more favorable to Russia than to NATO. And that's where that's all about. It's all about NATO wanting to run Europe and Russia and just take it down. That's the interesting thing with Trump, is that Trump is not so interested in going to war with Russia as the Democrats were. And I'm so glad, because we don't need a war with Russia, for Christ's sake. Black Rabbit, hello, hi. Noise canceling tech was canceled. Loud noise is a weapon. Well, did you see that? Apparently, it was a noise cannon of some sort. There was a big street protest in Serbia, and the government played a noise cannon of some sort. Then everybody just got off the street immediately because they were attacking their ears. And that's a good way to get me to leave. If you attack my ears, man, I'm out of there. So, yep, a vicious crowd control weapon that, like everything else, they try it out in Serbia and then they'll bring it over here. And next time some real honest protesters try to make something happen, they'll try it on us. Oh, sure, Corky. Brightmore Dinosaur MSM reporting that Trump is furious with Putin over ceasefire negotiations. Why would Putin concede anything at this point? Well, you know what? I mean, first of all, you're saying MSM, and anything that comes from MSM is like, oh, so what? I mean, they have so much blown their credibility. It's just ridiculous. I know a lot of people feel like you need to keep watching it in order to know what they're telling everybody else. And I'm glad that there are people that do that. And I appreciate Marcia, my wife, when she actually watches the Washington Post, which to me is like, oh God, why would I do that? But again, why would Putin concede anything at this point? Well, if Trump actually is furious with Putin, he's an actor, okay? Don't you understand? All of this is negotiating techniques. You know, the art of the deal. Trump is a deal maker. You know, he's kind of like a godfather figure that's like gives you, you know, here's an opportunity for you to, you know, be my friend, be my partner, you know, but you got to show a little respect. We know what Zelensky didn't do, but him and Putin, you know, I don't think either one of them wants to carry on with the war. But is it really him furious with Putin? I don't know. I think all of that stuff is masquerova. You know, while you're negotiating, you use different techniques. Corky, don't force hate on babies. Yeah. All for IPAC. Isn't this something what people will do for IPAC? Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, what can we do? But we just have to deal. We have to deal with it. You know, I'm glad to be alive. You know, I, I was just talking to my best friend, my good old buddy, college roommate who lives down in the mountains of North Carolina, and he has a handyman that helps him around the house and the yard doing things, and really nice fellow. I met him a couple times, and we were just talking last night, and he said that the man's son was, uh, for some reason, climbed up in a tree and fell out of the tree and died. I guess he was, you know, maybe doing some work, like maybe a tree surgeon or I don't know, but whatever, for whatever reason, he was up in a tree and he fell out of the tree and hit the ground and just died. And that kind of thing happens. It's terrible. It happens all over the place. It happened I think it happened a lot more frequently, you know, on a per capita basis when everybody was doing things outside and working in the yard and having menial and, you know, tasks that required things like climbing trees and digging and, you know, building, uh, carrying bricks up a ladder on a hod, as the Irish famously uh, did. Well, that stuff is dangerous, and people are going to fall and die. Uh, and thank God it hasn't happened to me yet. But my friend Ted, he sent me a ladder, a folding ladder for when I go out and trim my peach trees. So it has rails on it as you come up, and he was like, "Be real careful when you climb." I will. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Brightmore says Israel is finding out that bunker busters will not destroy the nuke facilities deep underground. Interesting. Interesting. Well, they will destroy everything on the ground, though, won't they? Including the children. Do EMFs have any effect? I asked the doctor. I said, what about you know, not EMFs, but just frequencies, general electromagnetic uh, waves, like what you get around a router or a uh, you know 5G or you know EMF. And that was when he said no. He said, you know, only if it's like something at a high pitch that you hear that sound, it might trigger the brain, but it's not because he said consider um, what's that big thing that they have you go in, you lay down and it brings you into a tube and it does this tapping thing. I can't remember what it's called, but nuclear medicine resonance. You know, that's an awful lot of magnetic waves, but it's never been shown to cause tinnitus. And he said, you know, that's pretty strong indication that they don't have uh, that effect. I am not qualified to say whether he's right or not, but he's the expert, so I'll go with that. Paul Kenyon says, my missus says her tinnitus spikes when she has a joint. Oh, God, that's bad news. That is bad news. Yeah. I hope that's not true. I really do. It's maybe just because she gets a little bit of the mental pleasure of it, but you're concentrating on your mind so much that you hear the tinnitus more. I don't know. I sorry to hear that, Paul. Corky, get rid of the router. Yeah, it requires unplugging it, carrying it up to Waldorf, 40 miles away, trading it in on a better router, and it's just a half day's worth of nuisance that neither she nor I have done yet, but I got to do it. Doge DARPA. Yeah. You mean get Elon to investigate what's going on with DARPA? Well, if it wasn't for DARPA, there wouldn't be no Elon, you know? I mean, he's a DARPA guy. He's a DARPA baby as far as I can tell. That's just my surmise. I haven't documented that, but he acts like he grew up in entirely in preparation to fulfill the role laid out for him by Albert Speer in his novel, in which the guy named Elon goes to Mars. You know, in other words, I am sorry for people like Elon, who probably has been under some kind of mind control since infancy, just to develop his mind in the direction that he can do all of this complicated math and figure out how to make rockets land backwards. And incredible. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't really know, but I just feel like people like Elon and also um, Mr. Amazon Bezos guy, with that kind of bug eye. I'm sorry, but I don't think that they had normal childhoods. UAP tech. Well, who knows? Who knows? Laura Willingham, get rid of gluten and possibly dairy. Inflammatory foods certainly harm. Processed sugars also cause inflammatory responses. Certain nutrient deficiencies can cause issues. Digestive system is crucial. I agree with all that, except for I don't get rid of gluten. I just accept it in my organic whole wheat bread. But other than that, I don't take it. And of course, as probably you know, Laura, I don't take any of that other stuff. No dairy, no inflammatory foods, no processed sugars. I keep an eye on my nutrient needs and monitor my blood work every 3 months. And thank goodness my digestive system is working real well. So none of those are going to solve my tinnitus problem, but maybe it'll help somebody else. Hot fusion is not containable, and cold fusion is nature. Yeah, I really do enjoy studying that. I just don't take the time because I've got so many other things on my mind, especially considering how the new JFK things. Where do I find a lot of help to get me back on track with studying my dad's career? Because I do think I owe an updated version of McDuff Lives, the book. I've learned a lot since I published it on June the 6th of 2021, the 50th anniversary of my dad's death. And I'm putting together things that I think will make some very interesting additions to the book. And so I want to get back to the McDuff story, and McDuff being Kennedy's man to smash the CIA. Trump, I'm not so sure about, but my dad, yeah, that's where he was. If you haven't read it yet, get a copy of McDuff Lives. It's It's about a 3-hour read. I got a copy of it around here somewhere, but you've seen it before. It's on Amazon, and it's $10. So do get a copy. Do read it, and we'll chat about it one day. The vagus nerve and the spine. Well, it could be. Oh no, tinnitus is not music of the spheres, Corky. Tinnitus is not music. Tinnitus is aggravating noise. Brightmore dinosaur. Well, this is interesting. NASA DARPA's goal is to use tunable frequencies and minerals, etc., to use robots to create space elevators for mining. Materials will be converted into everything from food for a new space station to ad hoc patches and parts. Okay, so it's alchemy, right? They've learned how to, as Corky often says, transmit, um, you know, uh, lead to gold or into whatever else they want, because they've conquered, how to put together chemistry and biology. I'm afraid. Well, I don't think they're there yet myself. I think there's a lot more to it than they want us to know. And here's some more ideas from Laura. Anything attached to the ear, headphones like these, right? Jewelry, etc., can cause an inflammatory response. Eliminate scented products, fabric softeners, antibacterials. Okay, I agree. Don't use them, so I can't eliminate them, but good ideas to keep in mind, everybody. And Polly says, good afternoon from the Netherlands. Hi, Polly. I haven't been in Amsterdam maybe 10 years now. Boy, I used to love to go to Amsterdam when I was younger. I could only go for a week or a couple of days, just because of money and because of having to work. But every time I went over there, I just felt so comfortable and relaxed, and it's a beautiful city. Everybody should see Amsterdam. Amsterdam. Oh boy, Corky's a ladder monkey. He said, I have every ladder up to a 40-footer. My goodness. Well, you can come down here and clean our gutters for us, and Corky, I'll give you a nice dinner and a round of applause. Charles Held agrees with me. Yeah, that video of a crowd control weapon used in Serbia is spectacularly cruel, isn't it? Yes, MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. That's right. And good morning to Gold Color. New study report that weed smokers under 50 are 6 more times more likely to get cancer, have a stroke, or cardiac issues. Why wasn't that the case before COVID? You know what I think it is? I think it's this crap weed that the kids are smoking. I think Kevin McCarran is all over this. If you watch him on X, it's a real tragedy. The kids can get high off of this mixture of hemp and some spraying something on it, maybe some of the components of THC, for instance, but it's not pure, it's not safe, it's not organic, and I think it has a lot more to do with the crap that's in this street weed, and people, you need to have a source that you can trust. Yeah, and a lot of kids are smoking weed now. I mean, far too many. I don't care if it's good weed or bad weed. I don't think you need to be smoking it when you're in junior high school. Excuse me, but it does interfere with your learning. And while you're there, you're not just learning facts. You're trying to learn how to be a good thinker. So, I am very much opposed to using uh, weed or marijuana or anything else while you're trying to get an education. It's crazy. And you got you. Of course, Paul. Dang, half day worth of nuisance. That's right. Yeah. And the older we get, the more time we have to spend dealing with sitting in waiting rooms and driving 80 miles to go to some specialist. But we have to adjust to it and accept that, you know, gosh, I had my time. I had wonderful, wonderful younger years when I got to play music and sing all the time. That was when I was the happiest. When I was on stage with my trombone or my fiddle, that's what made me happy. No, whole wheat is the worst. Oh, okay. Well, Laura and I were going to have to disagree on that. I've been through it, man. I mean, I spent 20 years off of gluten. Okay, and anyway, well, we I respect your opinion, and I offer you mine. That it varies from body to body, to person to person. Some people really are allergic to gluten, and that's a fact. But I'm not, so it doesn't trouble me at all. Good doggy. Do I have a new stream with Adam Finnegan scheduled? I am thinking about maybe this Thursday if he's available. Got a lot to talk about. Been a lot of stuff talking about with this Dr. Patrick Soonchong and George Webb's comments on that. And I really do think that it's time for me to get Adam back on so he can explain once again and clarify exactly what is going on with the sleeper agent and the super antigens of bacteriological warfare. It's hard to grasp what he said the first time, and then it's easy to get distracted and come up with other theories that don't hold water. Whereas Adam did all of the work, put it together in his book, The Sleeper Agent. And I think if people would just please, if you want to study this biological warfare stuff, Lyme disease especially, you got to read The Sleeper Agent, and then try to brainstorm after you picked up what he's saying. Uh, a lot of talk about it in ways that are not consistent with what he's written is not helpful. But what he has written is so important. Get a copy. The Sleeper Agent. Get it from thesleeperagent.com or get it from Amazon. And do it for him, because this man, he's written it for free. He didn't get a grant. He hasn't been paid for writing this. He spent 7 years of his life doing this research. So I think if we just all respect Adam Finnegan's work and study it can answer a lot of questions that a lot of people are still baffled by. Well, that's my opinion. So, a good idea, a good doggy. I will try to get one set up soon. Elon's mom's a Satanist. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't studied her except for she looks a little strange. Oh, okay. 9-year-old sex party. Well, yeah, I mean, that may be the case. It's consistent with a weird childhood. Let's just leave it there. Garden Girl. Hello, Garden Girl. Right, Morrison. I think government-sponsored marijuana available at the new dispensaries is laced and possibly sprayed. That's bad. That's not the case in Maryland. Maryland has a very safe and well-regulated system. So I know that other governments may be exploiting it, but I think Maryland has a good legal cannabis system, and I applaud the Maryland government for doing it. Gold color. It's raining here in Long Beach. I guess that's must be California, or is it CAS? Is that California or Cascades? Anyway, great for coffee morning. There is something, Laura Willingham, that really struck me as amazing. I was suffering from um, chest pains, um, and they got worse and worse over a couple of years, and I had no idea. I thought, what, went to the cardiologist and got stress tests and all the tests, and nope, nothing wrong. And it was the coffee. I was drinking coffee every day, 3, 4 cups. I loved coffee, but I cut out the coffee, and guess what? The heartburn. It was heartburn. It went away. I drink tea now. We have a great source of Irish tea, and it's delicious, and we drink it as much as we want to, and I don't have any heartburn. So that's one big thing that's helped me is unfortunately, I loved coffee, but now I like tea. I like tea better. Amazing how the mind can change. But oh yeah, I was very much of a coffee addict. And bingo, garden girl. I know an organic grower. Yeah, you need to know an organic grower. If it's not a place where your state regulates it organic. And it's unfortunate that you have to uh, go running the back roads and hoping not to get caught by a cop. And oh, what a hassle. Glyphosate wheat contamination, says Charles. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe is that from the spraying that they do on the wheat fields? Yeah, yeah, that's not organic wheat. And Brightmore wouldn't be surprised. Garden Girl says for gut health, visit Dr. William Davis's Super Gut. L. reuteri is your friend. Okay. Corky, my views are hard won just for following forbidden knowledge, my agenda. Charles says he'll get his ass over to Rumble. Well, come on over to Rumble, man, and join in the Rumble chat so you can see what everybody else is saying. And also, it makes me happy to see the numbers go up on McDuff Lives, all one word. You just go to the all one word one, because there's another one that says McDuff Lives is 2 words, and it's kind of like a summary of my 3 Rumble channels. And if you go there, then you won't see the live shows on time. And so you have to go to the one that says McDuff Lives, and it's all one word. And I'm almost to 1,000 followers on that particular channel. So please bump me over the 1,000 mark. I'd love to see that. And Laura Willingham, another comment about grains. Yes, Charles, but even the grains themselves, once the body tags them, grains are unnecessary and damaging to the digestive system. Mess up the gut, mess up the entire body. I completely disagree, Laura. So let's just note that we don't agree on that. Imagine that. And the K2 synthetic weed makes them crazy. Yeah, whatever they're doing, I don't know. But yeah, oh gosh, they just love to have crazy people. This is the thing. They can make all the kids crazy and not have any idea how to reason their way through problems, how to think. What a tragedy. And our government lets it happen. And and maybe Bobby's going to make it better. Maybe Bobby can actually just solve all these problems in 4 years. But man, he's getting a lot of pushback, and he's got to be under blackmail and fear and scared. And, you know, uh, his whole family's against him. So it's a remarkable thing that Trump got elected. The only way he possibly could have got elected was for the Democrats to have such a horrible, horrible candidate. If it weren't for that, I think he wouldn't have got elected. But, the Democrats they're controlled, and the Democratic voters don't know that they're controlled. I guess that's my other big thought this morning was from the Sermon on the Mount, which is in Matthew chapter 5. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Why do you look at the mote in your brother's eye without removing the big log in your own eye? Take the log out of your own eye first, and then you can see to help your brother better with the mote in his eye. What happened to that kind of morality? The entire Democratic Party is completely fixated on fixing the Republican Party. They can't fix the Republican Party, but what they can do is fix the Democrat Party. But they don't want to do that. They'd rather just throw mud at the Republicans over and over and over and over again. Oh, Orange Man bad. Oh, Trump is a mafia guy. Oh, how could anybody be so stupid as to vote for Trump? Well, how could anybody be so stupid as to vote for the Biden crime family? Answer me that one. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Biden's not a criminal. Oh, yeah? Have you ever tried to look and see what people are talking about when they say Biden crime family? Oh, no, that's all just made up by Fox News. Oh, okay. Well, you've got a big log in your eye, man. And as long as you keep that there, you're not going to fix the Democratic Party. And as long as the Democratic Party is completely controlled by assholes like John Podesta and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, you're not going to get any better. You got to fix your own party. Take the log out of your own eye. Then tell us what we need to fix about ourselves. It's so simple. But no, they think they're smarter than that. Let's see, we're almost out of time. Gargling, that's an idea. Could improve blood flow. That's something I don't do, but yeah, I should do that. That's a good idea. Won't do any harm. Young Garden Girl says, young adults have switched from alcohol to edibles and vaping. Well, at least they won't be out wrecking cars like the kids, in my generation, getting drunk and doing stupid things, just get stoned and, lay back in the couch and listen to music. Okay. If that's what turns you on. Don't know what body tag greens means. No, I don't either. Brightmore Dinosaur. U.S. citizens should be paying attention to the Netherlands government battle with Netherlands farmers. Absolutely, yeah. And support the farmers, They just want to turn everything into a technocratic state. And it's not efficient for them to grow their, their fake food products in the Netherlands. They'd rather grow them, they'd rather grow them in Ukraine. They'd rather grow them in China or someplace where it's so cheap. And yet Netherlands wants to feed itself. Netherlands should feed itself. Any self-respecting country should be able to feed itself, That's where, now, one thing I will not put up with is this crap that somehow it's unfair to take soda and processed snack food away from poor people, as it's been put by Doge and President Trump and Bobby Kennedy trying to just take those crazy things off of the schedule that's paid for under food stamps. Why isn't that a no-brainer? Nobody needs Coca-Cola. Nobody needs French fries or, you know, Lato, Fritos, Frito-Lay products. Why should our government pay for that crap out of tax money? It's crazy. Try to find other chores that can be done on long chore runaround. Yeah, I see what you're saying, and yeah. So one day I'll get that old router and carry it up to Waldorf and trade him in, man, and get a few other things done too. Coffee says, oh, Corky says, coffee, cigarettes, booze, water, weed, shrooms, choices. Okay. Half of America still D. That's right, and they'll be back too. They've just got to get a better candidate. If they can find somebody, that'll go along with their DNC, World Economic Forum, UN agenda, 2030. If they can get somebody to go along with that, or maybe stupid enough not to know what it is, then as long as they're handsome or beautiful and, can speak well and read a teleprompter, they could get somebody elected. Garden Girl suggests Adam get together with Catherine Watt. Well, I don't know much about Catherine Watt, but I hope that she follows Adam, and I hope that she has read his book. I think people that want to get enlightened about this stuff should start with Adam's book, and maybe Catherine Watt, if she was suggested to read it, might read it. I don't know. Maybe she has. I'm not familiar with her. We all have sensitivities. Food sensitivity tests. Okay, that makes sense. Half of America won't connect the dots between Wuhan and COVID because our government hasn't done it. Okay, if you want the people to accept something, a theory about something that happened in another country years ago, and to say, oh, that's what it is. That's the cause of our pandemic. Well, the government has to get up in front of it and say, now that's my big complaint about the JFK revelations is they're just throwing out a whole bunch of dots that we're supposed to connect. Why do we have to connect the dots? Why doesn't the government connect the damn dots for us? Why can't they just say, okay, we've looked at it. Here's the deal. It was Angleton. It was the Israelis. It was Division 5. It was the I don't know, the Dixie Mafia. Come on, just say something. Don't sit back and make us connect the damn dots. Brightmore suggests we Google images of May Musk and you'll see the satanic poses and imagery. Okay. Yeah, tea is working great for me. Corky, I agree. Glyco. I think glyphosate, that stuff they put in the corn and everything. Yeah, absolutely. This poison that they put on the wheat before the harvest. Yeah, there's nothing organic about wheat that comes out of that kind of harvest. No way. Gold color 420 has 10,000 compounds of God's goodness. And just harness the goodness. The good is one of the few plants that takes toxic metals out of the soil. Well, I don't know if that's the case, but sounds good. Charles, you're not slow, man. You've been making comments on my work for probably six years now, and I always learn something from you, Charles. I really do appreciate it. Dave Aspie says most coffee has mold, and use his bulletproof brand. Okay. Charles, I don't like to not have you around too. I'm glad you're here. Elon has had top DoD security clearance for years because of Starlink. Trump just pulled Hillary and Blinky's security. Why so late? Yeah. Well, it's still kind of early and he's got his hands full, and I can excuse that. The Starlink thing, I mean, how, I think he said, somebody asked him once, is it possible to put a weapon on there, like a laser weapon or something on all these satellites? He says, oh yeah, of course, we haven't done it, but we could do it. As if they're not going to do it. Of course they are. Garden Girl says you should have pulled those clearances the first week. And oh my goodness, I've gone over noon and I didn't even notice it. Well, thanks everybody for being with me this morning. I really did enjoy. I had the chance to just relax and have a chat with you, my friends. And I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Harley Schlanger of the LaRouche Organization and the Schiller Institute over in Europe. And we will get caught up with him. Always exciting conversation. So join us then. And everybody have a great day. Bye now.